Svenska. PC. Gamer.
Going back almost 10 years, how did the idea of starting to develop open worlds come about? Do you remember?
Yeah, so we always wanted Rage 1 to be more open, and we had mega texture, which looked really nice, but wasn't really great for gameplay. So one of the issues with the original Rage is everything was separate level loads, separate driving, separate discs, which was a nightmare, and so we weren't able to create a game that was truly open. So when we had the opportunity to work with Avalanche, they brought both the experience of making open world games and a great open world engine. So then we could focus on gameplay, on what we wanted to do, and really bring that id style first-person combat to a real open world game. So I like to say that Rage 2 delivers on the promise of Rage.
I was actually that's fine. That was actually more speaking of before Rage.
Oh, before Rage.
Was there anything special? Do you remember you were influenced by when you started making other open
I'm
worlds?
sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, just kind of getting out of the corridor shooters. Yeah. You know, which we do really well. But at the time, especially when we started to work with the mega texture, and we saw how we could stream in virtual texturing, we had thought that we could have created a much larger world, and then we could just drive and then jump out of the car and fight, jump back in the car. But then, and that worked really well for big open worlds, but the problem was all the other things that the animations and the characters and the weapons, they all took memory and space. So our open world got smaller and smaller and smaller until it became like sections. But again, like I said, with this tech, it's more of an open world. So it's more kind of getting, having the freedom to, jump in and out of your car and engage in combat anywhere, which I always thought was something that I wanted to do.
So it was quite a lot of that was tech and hardware based that you wanted to, but you couldn't before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There are obviously pros and cons in doing a successor to a game. Rage maybe wasn't quite that massive success it had gotten used to. What would you say was the most important thing you took away from that going into Rage 2?
To deliver the game that people expect, and we did a lot of great things in Rage. Again, millions of people played it. It was rated well, but it did suffer from not being open enough. So, a huge lesson is delivering on the expectations of what players want. That's huge, which is what we've done with our other titles. So with Rage 2, I think we can do that.
All right. Which dystopia or post-apocalypse is your favorite?
So the reason that I like post-apocalyptic games is because they allow for a lot of creative freedom. Because they allow us to make sci-fi weapons, which we love, have crazy monsters like mutants and cyborgs or whatever, but they also ground the player in things that they can recognize and are familiar with. So
it's not too much out there?
It's not too much out there, because you could put this on an alien planet,
yep,
and then you'd be like, okay, is this an alien planet? But you're like, oh, that's a road, or oh, that's a building, but there's a mutant in the building, and it's more relatable. Anytime you can have something that players can relate to, then you can hook them better. So that's why these types of worlds work really well, more than kind of sci-fi worlds.
So which one?
Oh, which one do I like the best?
Yeah.
I'm a huge Mad Max fan. I'm a huge Road Warrior fan, if you can probably tell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the first ones were good in a sort of like a cringy, a bit of an awkward way.
I loved them. Yeah, so, yes.
1979, the first one, right?
I
think it was
yes. Yes, which was actually called Mad Max.
Yeah.
And then Road Warrior was 2 of that.
Yep. You've said before that there will be both free and paid additional content. And you mentioned possibly microtransactions, but no loot crate or pay to win.
Yes, exactly.
Could you delve into that a little bit more?
Not really, because we haven't
I figured.
Because we haven't actually started our community push yet. But one thing I can say is we are trying to be flexible with our post-launch plans, because until we really understand what players want more of, we're hesitant to totally commit to one thing. We have some cool stuff that we're working on, but we are committed to staying flexible. We want a longer tail on the product, and what's great about this engine is because the way it's built and how things stream in, it does give us more freedom to add some cool stuff that people will engage. So these add-ons will be things that go into the world, not separate worlds.
Alongside that, or quite intimately connected to that, you also said that currently there's no multiplayer planned.
Yes.
And I'm sure you can't speak a lot about stuff you probably don't know yourself if you're going to do or not. So I'll instead ask whether you think like instanced content in the Rage world, like Destiny influenced or whatever.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If that would be a cool idea, or do you think?
I mean, those are always cool ideas. It's just what players want.
Yeah. Do you think it would stray too much from the core gameplay, or could it be?
No, I mean it could work.
It seems like it could work for me. Yeah.
But again, we just it's easy to say, well, I want to play multiplayer, but then when you're like, well, what exactly do you want to play? Then it's like, well, this works, this doesn't work. So those are big questions.
But it's a big thing as well. But yes. I mean, like in the context of Avalanche as well, they've been heavily criticized both from the Just Cause 2 and 3 that having not implemented multiplayer, even if people thought they were able to technically, but they have just dodged the comment. It's quite interesting too. I mean, it would be fairly easy for them just to say like, we won't do it because of this and that, but they haven't really commented on it.
No,
which is quite interesting.
Again, I don't want to speak for Avalanche, but for us, for id, sometimes it works out well in the game design, sometimes it doesn't, because you can do anything in a game. You can't do everything in a game. So, as a developer, you need to focus on your team, resources, time, and your objectives. And sometimes doing everything just isn't the way to go.
Sometimes people say to you or about id, they would like more story and personality in games. I mean, in the context of real action carnage, do you see more story depth as a risk of losing focus from the action parts, or as something more intriguing for you to delve into in the future?
I mean, I think we've improved the story. John Carmack used to laugh in the old days about story in video games, and make jokes about it. But players want more. One of the reasons why we gave Walker a voice in Rage 2 is to help tell more of a story, and to help kind of communicate things to the player, fill them in on what they may have missed from Rage 1. Having the kind of over-the-top characters that we have can help, give a sense of place and lore in the game. So you'll see more story. I mean, like people say that Doom 2016 did not have enough story, but it actually had a good story to it. I think. But
sometimes it can also be the case, I think at least, that if you're playing like Doom or even more out on that Flank series Sam or something like that, I mean, if you're expecting something, then maybe not always it's the right thing to do to branch into something entirely else. But I mean, in an open world action game like Rage, it could be more possible to do it. But I mean, like, I don't think Doom, I mean, it wouldn't be as much as it wouldn't be Doom if we went and done an action RPG or story based action game.
Yes, you need to focus on the game that you're making.
Yeah. What game would you like to create?
So yes, I get that question a lot. There's a type of game that I feel that the industry has not made enough of. It is a game that parents can play with their kids cooperatively together, like couch co-op, where I have my kids are now I have triplets. They're 14, so they're a bit older now. But when they were younger, there were not enough titles that allowed me to play as a character, as like the parent character that maybe could help the child character or the other character succeed, and you could work together. You could because when you play video games with your kids, and we used to play a ton of Little Big Planet because we had 4 people, and when you play games together as a family, it's really rewarding. And I do wish there were games. So I would make the adult character and the kid character, and you work together to do at the same time to accomplish things together. That's what I.
And out of the games that have been created, which one would you have made? You'd like to have made?
Little Big Planet, which is one of my favorite games ever.
It's a great game.
It was, and just because the time I spent with the kids playing the game, you know, I would play, and the three kids would play, and I would joke about getting me and three kids to jump from one platform to another platform at the same time should be an achievement. And then my wife would watch, and we'd have a good time, and it was, you know, though that game was awesome.
If you hadn't opened that door in Doom to the next level, like you described somewhere, that was when you sort of like discovered the gaming world.
What would I be doing?
Cadet Major Willits, would have you pursued a more military career or something?
I was glad I got out of the army.
Yeah.
But I do think that I encourage everyone, if they don't know what they're doing, spending a couple years in the military. No one ever comes out of the military worse off. I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But movie director. I always wanted to be a movie director.
Huh?
Yes, that is. Maybe when I'm done making video games, when I get
It's
replaced.
not that far. I mean, from
It's not that
level
far.
directing or creative directing, it's about a
No.
lot of things in common.
Yes, and I've talked to a few movie directors, and they've said making video games is way more difficult than making movies. So
Probably a lot more aspects of the game. Yeah, it's a bit more focused. So make a movie called Life Flash Consumed. Right?
That's funny. Yes.
Could be a smash hit.